All right, we ready for Emoji Blitz Corner? Is it time for that? Hi, Sean. No? Too soon? I'm disappointed they got nothing out for Christmas yet. It's still they're still hawking.
I know.
Hawking the
I really
Moana,
thought the
Moana.
last update. Now, I mean, we have what, Dumbo and Jiminy Cricket.
I don't know, but it seems like somebody's paying attention.
I do. I open the app every day. Every 8 hours, I open the app.
Do you really?
Yes.
Every 8 hours. My gosh.
I get the free spin.
Oh wow, you're dedicated. I just noticed the icon had changed to the is it Moana? What is it?
Sure. Yeah.
You don't seem very excited about that movie. I thought
I don't.
What? Whoa! Wow!
Have you seen
You
it?
took such a strong position. No, I haven't. Have you?
No. My Tammy and the kids have seen it, but I.
Whoa! All right, I think I struck a vein here. So, what what's your deal with it? What's wrong with this movie? Look cute.
It just doesn't. I don't. It doesn't call to me.
Wow. Okay.
No, I'm sure it's a wonderful movie.
But you won't even go find out.
No, I'll watch it on DVD or something.
I'll get it on the Betamax.
Yeah, Betamax, exactly.
Did you have when you were a kid? Because we're old guys. Did you have what was your first VCR? Did you guys
A VCR?
Okay, did you have VHS, Betamax? Were you a Betamax
VHS,
family?
yes, VHS. We got ours in 1980.
Whoa, Rockefellers.
And yeah, well, amazingly enough, my dad was like a gadget guy, kind of.
Okay.
We had cable before anybody. We had the VHS before anybody. He had stereo wired through the house.
Wow.
So I mean, he actually did like a lot of that cool stuff. So
pretty cool. Yeah.
So it was the kind where you would hit eject and the thing would chunk
pop up. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Put your tape in and So and no remote. No. That's a lie.
They had remotes.
It did have a remote.
Yeah.
It had a pause. You could pause it.
Yeah.
So if you were recording something and the commercials came on, you could hit pause and then unpause it. And unfortunately, I actually used that feature when I was recording a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so now, I recorded the opening celebration for Epcot.
Okay.
Well, I would love to see those commercials now, right?
Oh, right. Right. I see what you mean.
From 1982.
Yeah. Yeah, but back then you're like, oh, that's junk. I don't need this.
Right. That would be just as valuable as the actual show. So,
yeah. Well, yeah.
I messed that one
Live
up.
and learn.
No, didn't look into the future for that one.
Wow. And didn't you tell me once you took your VCR to Disney for your vacation so that you could record?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, in the 90s, I would take the VCR to the room with all the cables and everything, so I could unhook the cable that was going into the resort TV.
Yeah.
Plug it into the VCR, and then plug the cable back into the TV, and then record the resort channels.
And that worked, huh?
It worked fine until they
probably went all digital
they wised
stuff.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technology caught up with me. So I can't quite do that anymore.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So Moana, you have no interest. Is it just Hawaii that you hate, or is it?
No, is it Hawaii? I watch Hawaii 5-0 every week. What
do you really? Is that still on?
Yes, it's still on.
Wow.
How dare you? You just got finished saying that we're old guys, and you're surprised that I'm watching Hawaii 5-0?
I'm surprised it's still on.
CBS?
Did it go away and then come
Friday
back?
nights before Blue Bloods?
I don't even. It's like a different language you're talking. I don't even know what you're saying. Look at this. Hey, I just want to say, Moana, Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Do you know what its Rotten Tomatoes score is?
Oh, it's probably 97%.
Yeah, pretty close. 96, Glenn.
96. Okay, so I gave it an extra point. Look at that. It's the greatest movie ever.
No, but I'm just
clearly.
What is your? Because usually you're like, hey, Disney movie, let's go see it.
I don't know. It doesn't. It's not calling out to me. That's all I can say. Okay. It's not. I don't even know what it's about. None of the commercials have drawn me in enough to say, hey, you know what? I'd like to see that.
You know what's weird, and I'm sure there's zero association, but it's in my head there is. Did you see the? I don't know which movie it was in front of. You know how they do the little shorts in front of the Pixar shows?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in front of Inside Out.
I know what you're talking about.
And they have the volcanoes and the little Hawaiian music of the volcanoes
awesome.
that fall in love and everything. I love that.
Of course.
So in my head, these are it's probably
awesome.
nothing like that, but in my head, these are associated. So I'm like, oh, I want more of that. Mm. So I would go see Moana, thinking that I'm going to get some more of that. Is that?
Well, go see it, and then you can have a review corner on here.
Okay. Well, since you shut down my Emoji Blitz corner.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You see?
No, I have nothing against it. I'm sure it's a wonderful, awesome movie.
We'll let our listeners decide. Sounds like you do.
It's not going to be Princess and the Frog, but it's
please that movie that story is indecipherable. Nobody knows what that is about.
You're so silly.
No,
of course,
nobody knows.
The story is New Orleans.
Yeah, the good parts.
Mardi Gras all the time.
Yeah, that movie. Let's see what that got on Rotten Tomatoes.
Go ahead. I'm going to say it got a 94.
This is scintillating podcasting, is what this is. Princess and the Frog.
It is.
Look at that. They say number one drawback: nobody knows what it was about.
Really?
No.
Darn.
Yeah. 84. What did you say?
I said 94.
Oh, 94. No. It's because you're in your little New Orleans bubble.
Okay. Yeah. It's still 84.
84, not bad. Solid B.
Not bad, right?
Solid B.
That's right.
Huh. Mm. All right. What did the audience give it? Oh, 74 for the audience.
Mm. The audience just didn't understand.
Well, they're probably, not New Orleans people.
Didn't understand the genius of it.
Nobody understands it, movie.
Oh, please.
I'm going to do that reading someday. And I'm going to, we're just going to
okay.
Have you walk me through what exactly it is that story's about.
Fine. Okay. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
All right. What else are we talking about? Is this it? Are we done? Good night.
Tiana floats and everything, like at Disneyland. And she's on river boats and stuff. I mean, come on. She's all over the place.
I always see her. Where do I see her? Behind the Christmas shop. And
yes, that we saw her there once.
I see her there.
I think that's
like
Tiana's garden or something like that.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I guess I figure it's close to the riverboat. That's sort of New Orleans-y.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Since Liberty Square replaced New Orleans Square.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. What else are we talking about?
So I think we're going to talk about the Candlelight Processional.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You have more on that.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. But, this is going to be you because, it's going to be you because I don't know that.
So what we're going to do this week is we are going to focus on one attraction or show, and we're gonna change it up a little from the past weeks. We're not going to cover too much news because that hasn't gone so well.
Well, for one of us. Yeah.
At least to our ears. To my ears, at least. Because Disney did something else this week that didn't make me happy.
Well, now you got to say it.
But we're not going to even
we got to
focus on that.
Come on, we talk about it a little bit. It doesn't have to be news, current events. I'm going to throw one out. You just hold up, buddy, on your Candlelight Processional. So,
okay.
So, last night, you texted me at, what was it, 10:30? You're like, live stream now, capital letters,
yes.
exclamation point.
Yes.
For the it was a media event, right, at Epcot for Rogue One.
Well, it was for anybody who signed up for the Disney Parks blog.
Oh, okay.
So you could have gone, but you have to know when they're going to open the registration and be there because it fills up in like 10 seconds.
Okay. So so the park was closed, right? It was after the park closed. There must have been a lot of hangers-on in the parking lot, I would imagine, but.
Yeah, I saw some pictures today of people who were like outside where the kennel is.
Yeah, sure.
They could still see Spaceship Earth, and they were taking pictures from there.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was apparently this was in front of the park. I was thinking, for whatever reason, I was thinking it was going to be backed by Interventions, but it wasn't. It was in the front of the park by the Tombstones.
Yeah, the Tombstones. Thank you. Boy, that's just where I assumed it would be. Anyways, so it was an event for Rogue One. They had a little live stage show in front of Spaceship Earth for a little bit. Something they clearly should have rehearsed a bit more, perhaps. But whatever. They had some of the actors from Rogue One on, and I don't know what else. Yeah, Disney always seems to have trouble with those sort of little live, semi-scripted things, which surprising. But anyway, thankfully it didn't last too long. And the big finale was what they projected onto Spaceship Earth, the Death Star, right?
Yes.
Which I have mixed feelings about. Well, actually, I should back up. Somebody had sent me a link, not you, surprisingly, but somebody had sent me a link when it was announced they were going to do that. And my first reaction was dread. I thought this was a permanent change. Which
I did too. Which is the first time
as much as I love both Star Wars and Spaceship Earth and Epcot, there's no way I want those two things to collide that
right.
strongly. So, yeah, but then I found out it was just this one night for this event, and so yeah, I was looking forward to see what kind of effect they would do to it, and I think it was probably the best they could have done given the texture of Spaceship Earth. There's no real flat surface like that, but it obviously looked like a projection onto Spaceship Earth, right?
Right.
So, but I applaud them. It's something, they're really making good use of that projection technology. So I thought it was kind of cool. The best part was the laser bit, right? Which I
yes, so I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
that.
Me either. And it was like how the Death Star shoots. It's the 4 or 5 lasers, the small ones come out and converge into the one giant one, and that was a pretty good effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, thought it was cool. More of that. See, it's not all bad news.
No, it's not.
No. All right, one more.
It's not like they're now charging people to take the bus. It's nothing like that.
Is that what got announced today that you're complaining about?
Yeah, in the last week. Yeah, if you want express transportation, you can pay like $15 a.
What is your problem with that?
We're not. Okay, so the Candlelight Processional.
All right, go ahead.
So the Candlelight Processional. So a little background. Let's start off with a little history.
Yeah, where'd this thing come from? Why do they do it?
So it started in Disneyland, as all good things do. And it started, the first formation of it's changed over the years quite a bit. But the first official-ish, what they consider official, happened in 1958.
Really?
And it happened on a 2 times a year, so 2 days a year, so a Saturday and a Sunday, one weekend in December, they would have the Candlelight Processional. The Christmas tree that formed. So at Disneyland, it took place on Main Street, as it did when Disney World opened. They had the Candlelight Processional in 1971 when the year it opened, and both of them happened on Main Street.
Would they set up like risers somewhere or something? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the train station.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the Christmas tree was added in 1960. So 2 years after it officially started, the Christmas tree was added, and it was actually a high school choir. Okay. It wasn't made up of cast members, and it stayed that way until 1981, until the choir director for that school retired.
Wow.
Once he retired in 1982 is when the Disney employee choir started making the tree. So I never realized that for almost 20 years, actually over 20 years, it wasn't even Disney cast members. So in Disneyland, the first celebrity narrator was Dennis Morgan.
Oh, Dennis Morgan.
Dennis Morgan.
Yeah.
So I had to look him up. And
are you kidding? Seriously?
Yeah, I didn't know who Dennis Morgan. I know I'm an old dude, but I didn't know.
I have no idea
who
who that is. Yeah.
Oh man. So I think the biggest thing he was in was a movie called Christmas in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, okay. I've heard of that. I don't know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he did it in 1961 was the first time they had a celebrity narrator. He did it in 61, 62, 63, and 64. He did it 4 years straight. And then in 1965, Dick Van Dyke was a celebrity narrator, and he was promoting Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah, Mary Poppins.
And that was also the very last Candlelight Processional that Walt Disney attended.
Oh well, okay.
Disney World always had a celebrity narrator from day one. The first one was, you want to guess? You probably know this one.
The first celebrity narrator?
At Walt Disney World in 1971.
Gosh, I don't know.
You don't want to take a guess?
No, I'm afraid to. No, just tell me. Who was it?
It was Rock Hudson.
Well, how would I know that?
Well, I knew. That's the one that I did know.
Okay, you're like Rain Man with the Disney trivia, though. I mean, the history. Okay. Rock Hudson. I didn't even know he ever went to Disney World. I forget.
He actually narrated it 5 times at Disney World, and he narrated it, I think, 3 times at Disneyland. He loved it so much.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like it really attracts that in some celebrities really enjoy doing it. I mean, because obviously they're not making a ton of money from it. They're not getting massive publicity out of it, but it just seems like many of them just really enjoy doing it and do it. Many of them do it for many years, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, Neil Patrick Harris. He's him, Gary Sinise, Edward James Olmos, they all are, Marley Matlin, they've all done it multiple years, multiple days. So yeah, you're right. There are certain celebrities that just love to do it, or they just, whatever, they're drawn to it, and they're there every year they can be there. So even today in Disneyland, it's still done at the train station on Main Street. They've expanded it, I believe, a little bit, I think, to 2 weekends. But it's not, it clearly doesn't run as much as it does in Disney World. In Disney World, because the demand for it was so high, in 93, they moved it to Epcot for 15 nights with 2 performances each. And that was it was packed every performance. Right. So in 94, it moved permanently because I want to say, and I tried to do a little research on this in 93. I think it was actually at the Fountain in Future World. I don't think it was in the American Adventure yet.
Okay.
But in 94 is the first year it was moved to the American Adventure, and it's been there ever since. And it goes for 30 days and 2 performances a night. So it really hasn't been that well. I mean, we're old, but
speak for yourself.
94 doesn't seem like that long ago. That was the year I moved to.
Yeah, let me direct you to a calendar, though.
I know,
just
right?
roughly speaking, let me see.
2 years?
Alexa, how many years ago was 1994? Yeah.
22 years and 22 years and 11 months.
22 years and 11 months, according to Miss Alexa. Yeah, 22 years.
So
what you were saying? Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway, from that point on, it took on a life of its own at Epcot. And I think it's more, because it plays to so many more people at Epcot that it's associated with Epcot so much.
Sure.
It's part of their holidays around the world celebration.
And it's an interesting, attraction show, in that I think there's 2 huge camps of people that relate to it. I think there's a very large camp that obviously really enjoy it. They go year after year. The thing is packed for every performance. But I would bet most people that go to Disney World probably don't know anything about it, because it's kind of it's a subdued thing. It's not, there's no lasers and fireworks and stuff, at least not the times I saw it. So, it's interesting. It has that kind of, that kind of split, not everybody would know about it. It's not something that everybody rushes to, but it seems like people that are into it are really into it. And it becomes a tradition for that. It was for us for a while. It became, it was just part of what we would do at the holidays, at Disney World. So.
Yeah. So one other thing, really to touch on that exact same subject is I think it appeals to people as well because it's pretty much the only thing that is specifically Christian. They literally tell the story of the birth of Christ. Everything else is, they have Christmas trees and everything else, and it's very Merry Christmas Party still, but it's not like they play it up, right?
Right.
Here at the Candlelight Processional, like it's all out. I mean, this is it.
Sure.
This is the reason for Christmas,
Right.
is the birth of Jesus. So they tell the story from the Bible, and it's pure Christmas music. It's so I think that's. But I think that's kind of nice, right? I think it's pretty cool that it's just full blown on Christmas. Here it is, guys.
Here's your religion. Boom.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And whether you like that or not, it's
the purity of it, right? It's not
the purity of it. That's
Disneyfied
exactly
into
what I'm looking
a
for.
nondescript kind of celebration of some
Right.
kind. It is very much to the core of Christmas as it in Christianity, right? Yeah.
Right. Elsa hasn't invaded yet, and
I'm glad you
made
said
it
yet.
about a
Yeah,
snow
yet.
baby, and
Yep.
right, exactly. The little snow babies that she sneezes out, and
Does she do that? Is that like a superpower she has?
well, don't tell me you haven't seen the Frozen. Was it Frozen Ever After? Or
Why
whatever,
would
that little short?
Why would I do that to myself? No, I haven't seen that.
You do have children in your house,
Yeah, but
right?
I control them. I mean, they don't run roughshod
Okay,
over the. I mean,
Really?
I still pay the bills.
Sure?
Darn it! Well, come on, I don't want anybody to know. Let's just put it this way: he doesn't know anything about it.
So anyway, so Elsa gets sick, and so she starts sneezing, and when she sneezes, she makes these little bitty,
Shut up.
adorable snowmen,
No.
and like she makes millions of them.
That's disgusting. Yeah, see, I'll take Hawaii over that any day. All right. Anyway, so the core of Christianity.
Right, and so it's
To bring us back
it's
on track here.
the pure. So the music, they have beautiful music. So the music is it's beautiful. They have a CD, and it came out, I think, in 2000. They really need to re-record it because the music is slightly different. They have a couple different songs now, and I really like the lineup now. But there are times during the processional when I'll tell you right now, my favorite is when they come on with the "Rejoice with Exceeding Great Joy." I don't know if you remember that.
I don't know, but I don't remember
Okay.
yesterday for the most part.
It's just so the music and the choir, and it's so moving. It's so awesome. It just hearing that one song in that whole processional made my whole Christmas season.
Wow.
It's that good. But they sing. Let's see.
Well, while you're looking that up, so have you carried any part of that since you're not in Orlando anymore and you can't? It's not easy for you to go see it. Is there any part of that tradition that you've kept? I mean, do you guys listen to any of the music? Do you toss on a
we do.
YouTube
We
video,
listen.
or I mean, what?
Yes, we do. We did both of those. So we do listen to the music. We have the CD, obviously, and we'll listen to it in the cars. But we also actually just last week when Neil Patrick Harris was there, Inside the Magic live streamed it on Facebook, and I just happened to be on at that moment, and so I watched the whole processional with Neil Patrick Harris.
That's cool.
Narrating it, and I called Tammy over and I said, "Oh wow!" And we watched it on my phone, and it was it's just really cool to watch anytime, anywhere, to hear the music. It definitely brings us back to that time. So they have about 15 songs that they sing. It takes about an hour for the whole presentation. As we mentioned, they do have celebrity narrators every night from the day after Thanksgiving all the way through December 30th. And a lot of times it's not just, the B and C list celebrities. They actually do get some A-list celebrities every now and then. How about I say the list, and I'll see if you know who the person is or not.
Okay. All right. That's
Okay.
Well, okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Have you?
Yeah, he's
Who is
done
it?
that a lot of years. He's like a religious guy, right? Isn't he like a?
Okay. I'm literally asking you because I have
Oh,
no
really?
idea who that is.
Oh, no, he's- yeah, he's-
it could say Ronald McDonald,
Oh
Bozo
yeah,
the Clown.
no, I believe he is some sort of minister, faith
Oh, okay.
person, something or other. Yeah.
probably
But
why
he's
I
been,
haven't
gosh,
seen
he's been. Well, I don't know if he's done it continuously, but I know we first saw him. I should say the first time I went. Who was that? Was probably 10 years ago. So he's done it before.
Cool.
All right, score one for me. Next.
Next is Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, of course. Fantastic. Okay.
Yes. Next is Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay. I've heard of her. I know who she is.
You have? Okay.
Okay. Has she
December-
has she done it a lot?
Whoopi Goldberg has done it a lot, yes.
Okay. I've never
Yes,
caught
she
her out
has.
there, so I didn't know if this was like a first time or not. All right. What else you got?
Next, and who is the actual narrator tonight, as his last night, is Edward James Olmos.
Yeah, of course. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
And then
We've seen
tomorrow.
him. I'm trying to remember who we've seen. I think we caught him once, maybe twice. All right.
A quick story about him. Tammy and I were supposed to go see him. No, Tammy was going to sing the night that it was supposed to be Roy Disney narrating, but he fell ill, and so they called in Edward James Olmos as a substitute at the
wow.
last minute.
Okay.
And so he flew up or something and filled in that night. So that was cool. I mean, we were looking forward to seeing Roy Disney, but it was cool that they got a pretty good substitute.
Sure. Okay.
So tomorrow through the 9th is Anthony Mackie.
So tomorrow is we're recording this on the December 6th, right? So
Yes.
Okay.
This is the 6th.
Yeah. Who? Wait,
do you know who that is?
Who'd you say?
Anthony Mackie?
Oh, of the Mackeys from the
Yes.
Philadelphia Mackeys.
No, from New Orleans.
Oh, the New Orleans Mackeys. Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
the New Orleans
Of
Mackeys.
course. Yeah. No idea.
He's in the Avengers. He's Falcon.
Okay. Cool.
Then it's Robbie Benson.
Yeah. Okay. I know him.
Then Meredith Vieira.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what she was doing. All right.
And then next is Jim Caviezel.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say
Of course.
his name.
Okay.
He played Jesus
In.
in The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that the one? The Mel Gibson movie?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next is Joe Morgan.
It's scintillating. Don't know who Joe Morgan is.
Yeah, I know him from stuff, but he's like, he's not top of mind for me. Next is December 22nd through Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh.
Will be Ming Na Wen.
Yeah, very good. Okay. I know who she is.
And then
Yeah. Joy Luck Club, right? Joy Luck Club, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think she was also the voice of Mulan,
Oh, okay. There you go.
and I think she's on the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Christmas Day through the 27th is Jodie Benson.
Okay. Cool.
And then the final narrator, December 28th through the 30th, is Cal Ripken Jr.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah, really.
That's such a strange combination. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you do have, bigger
Yeah.
names, and then you have, like,
But most of them are actors or,
Yes.
But Cal Ripken. Okay. I would, what? Maybe I'll try to go see that. That's great.
I would love to see
All right. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he doesn't call out sick. You see what I did there?
You know what? Yeah. That should make some kind of news if he called out sick for that.
The shortest stint ever on the Candlelight Processional.
That's right.
Okay. That cracked me up.
I like statistics. Do you like statistics?
Well, yeah, okay, so talking about baseball. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to throw some statistics at you.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, do it.
On any given night of a Candlelight Processional performance, there are 300 guest choir members.
What? Really?
48 cast choir members.
Okay.
45 orchestra members. 8 Voices of Liberty.
Okay.
6 fanfare trumpets. 1 conductor. 1 celebrity narrator. And 1 sign language interpreter on stage.
Even when Marley's not there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Huh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because I find myself oddly staring at the sign language person most of the time.
Wondering what she's saying?
No matter what, who is the narrator and, what's going on, I'm usually, for some reason, I'm drawn to them.
The way your brain works is just amazing to me.
I know, it's weird.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. That's a huge production.
It is.
Man. Okay.
It is.
I had no idea. What if I want to see this thing? What's the best way for me? If I've never been, hey, I'm taking the family down for Christmas. Do I just show up 10 minutes before the show starts and get a seat, or how's that work?
You will never, ever do that ever in your life again. in going forward into the future.
I swear, I think early on when we saw it, that's kind of what we did. Maybe we
Sure.
waited in a little
That's
line,
what-
but it wasn't.
Sure, that's what we used to do.
Yeah.
Just show up and get in line. Yeah, I remember one time we saw Barbara Eden, and we just showed up. I think it had almost started. They were introducing her, and they're like, hey, there's a couple seats up. We literally sat front row.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, hey, there's some seats up here. Come up here.
Wow. So it's a bit more popular these days?
A bit more popular these days. So the best way to see it is to buy a dinner package. And the last time we saw it in 2011, that's exactly what we did. The thing is, though, you still have to wait in line. So you buy the dinner package and you get a ticket. And all that does is it gets you in the line to make sure you have a seat. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a good seat.
Right.
So they fill in all of the dinner package people first. And then once all those people are seated, then they let in the standby line. And that line fills up pretty early, and you just pretty much have to wait. And it's if you're by yourself, I'll tell you from personal experience, if you're by yourself, it's the most miserable thing on the planet. Just to sit there and wait to get in, all by yourself.
So did the dinner packages help in that you have an avenue to get into it, or did that kind of destroy it because now they've made it so that unless you have a dinner package you can't really get in because there's just too many people?
Well, right, and that's what they've done is it's pretty much they just ought to say, hey, you know what, you got to pay extra for.
It's like dinner and a show.
It's like dinner and a show.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at it that way, you're going to buy dinner anyway, right? For the most part.
Don't you have to go to the more expensive restaurants, though?
No, not necessarily. It has to be a sit-down restaurant, but you can pick... I forget where we went. We went to... Oh, I think we went to Nine Dragons.
Of course.
For ours. Because I love it. I'm sorry.
Should do a whole episode on that someday.
Oh, my God. Can we please? Oh... So yeah, the only way to really see it, to be assured that you're going to get a seat, is to do the dinner package.
Okay. Which I think we did. We did one year. I think we went to Canada. Yeah. Is it? I don't remember it being that long of a show, though. Is it? Is it like a?
It's about an hour.
Okay.
It's not, and the narrator is probably out there 35, 40 minutes, something like that. But you have the pre-show, which is about 20 minutes. They sing, the orchestra plays and the Voices of Liberty sing for about 20 minutes. Then the choir fills in, the narrator is there, and then the choir fills out. You have to sit there. They leave, and then you can leave. So the whole thing is probably between 50 and 60 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds a bit long for my young kids. I don't think they'd sit through that. But
yeah, but in a few years.
Yeah, they get there.
I have asked Tammy my wife, my beautiful wife, to join us tonight, since we were talking about the Candlelight Processional, because she has experience in being in the Candlelight Processional.
I don't want to stress Tammy out, but does she know that she is the inaugural special guest for our show?
That is very true.
Like forever and ever and ever, she will be the first guest. Nobody else can be the first guest.
That's right.
No pressure.
Say hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Hello,
You know
Tammy.
both of them stay in. Right?
Hello,
Yeah,
Tammy.
sure.
So Tammy did the Candlelight Processional. She was a cast member for 12 years total.
Just 2 weeks shy of 12 years.
2 weeks shy of 12 years. And then, but she was in the cast choir in the Christmas tree for how many years, Tammy?
4 years,
And
starting in 2000.
And I remember those days fondly because I would have to go, I wouldn't have to, but I chose to go and stand in the standby line to get my one seat to be able to hear the Candlelight Processional and Tammy sing, and because I could tune right into just Tammy because she was the most important person in the.
Oh man, what did he
In
ask
the
for
choir.
Christmas? Is there something for Christmas he's really wanting? Because my goodness.
So, so since we're talking about Candlelight Processional, I figured we'd have an expert on here to help us hear some
An actual
stories, hear what the experience is like,
Yeah.
and just give us a better idea of the Candlelight Processional.
Am I allowed
So,
to ask questions, or you guys can ask questions? I don't know if you have a
Absolutely,
specific
because
agenda.
I'm just going to ask questions.
Okay, so
Tammy's
you-
the answer person.
Yeah, I got it. And I remember when the first time you told me that she was in it, I was like just like average normal people can be in. I always thought it was, professional singers or whatever. So that was enlightening to me that I guess people get to volunteer to be in it, right?
Yes. It's open to any cast member who wants to participate. When I first started, they didn't really have auditions. You just went, you signed up, you just had to, show up to practice. And I think by the last year I did it, they kind of had people audition so they could kind of tell you where you were better, like alto or soprano
Or in another room. Right.
No, I didn't get to try out, Chris.
No, I think pretty much everybody who tried out got in because
No, it was a very selective process, Tam.
there might have been a few
Weeks and
that
weeks.
didn't make it.
It was like The Voice, but harder to.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
But because hundreds of cast members would try out or would show up to participate, and it was
Is that true?
a big
Hundreds?
turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't tell if you're
Well-
kidding or not.
well,
So
no,
what, is it like
and if you-
different cast members get to be on different nights and things? Because obviously there aren't hundreds on the stage at one time, right?
No, because it's a limited number per night because of it being just the tree,
Right.
being the cast members. So, what you would have to do is you would put in your 3 top choice of nights that you wanted and times that you wanted to perform, and they would do their best to get you those 3, and then anything after that was open, you could sign up to fill in if there was anything open. They also allowed cast members to fill in the guest choirs if there were not a large enough group filling in the guest choir. Cast members could help fill in that area.
So wait, it's been a lot of years since I've seen it. So there was a more formal choir that was part of it, and then a cast member choir. Like, is that what it was?
The additional choirs are actually high school and college students
Oh, okay.
who come in from all over the country, and they fill in around the outside of the tree on either side of the tree.
Okay. So it's mostly cast members then, it sounds like. Yeah?
Actually, the larger number are the guest choirs.
Oh, okay.
The cast members make up the middle section or the tree section, which is actually a smaller number. But I guess they stand out more because
Right.
they look like a tree.
Right. Right. Okay. I should have.
And you have one person at the top who is to represent the star.
Oh,
And are
is
they
that-
special in any way, or are they
Usually,
picked? Well, no. Are they picked for
there
a special
were
reason?
certain people that were picked because of their height.
Okay.
Yes.
because they were tall?
Yes.
No, that wouldn't have been me. So, were you ever the star? Did you get to be the star?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I was not tall enough.
not tall enough. Well, you're not. I mean,
No, and
you're
I'm
blessed with height, unlike people in my part of the world. Wow, you gotta be pretty tall then. My goodness.
Yes. You have to be
Okay.
fairly tall to be the star.
Okay. So with
So
Go.
once you audition, do you have practices?
Right.
Do you just learn on your own? What is that like?
No, they have practice, and I want to say it was 3 or 4 nights a week that they offered practice. And you had to attend a minimum of 10 practices to be able to perform. So they did have a requirement for that. So you had to actually show up, sign in, stay, sign out. And the only reason that I didn't do more years prior to that was because of the work schedule. It was
Yeah, you were working.
I was working nights.
nighttime.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot that.
But I found out years later that they actually do work with cast members if they want to participate, to give you an opportunity to go to enough practices and work your schedule around it.
So come on, tell me honestly, was anybody ever cut from the choir? They're like they just couldn't handle it. Come on, give some dirt.
Not that I am aware of.
No, you didn't like see some people at the first 2 rehearsals and then you never saw them again. Nothing like that.
No, there were people that would back out. Yes,
Yeah.
Maybe it was too much. The practice was too long.
Right.
It would get very crowded after a while because you had like hundreds of people cramped into a studio practicing. It would get hot, and you'd practice the same songs over and over again, and you really would probably need to love what you were doing to.
I was going to say
continue to do it.
that would make me pretty much hate Christmas. I think if I had to, hundreds of strangers, hot room, singing the carols over and over.
Yep.
No.
But you meet some new people, make some new friends.
Yeah, that sounds great. If you like that sort of thing. That's cool. So what year was the first year you did it?
2000.
2000. And what made you decide to do this? Did you have prior singing experience? Did you sing in choirs before?
Yes, I sang in the church choir growing up with the youth group and the children,
Yeah.
and in the adult choir.
And you could never get
And-
Glenn to go do this with you?
No.
All right.
But I love singing, so it was something I really wanted to do. I tried out actually, I want to say probably in 98, and I went to 1 or 2 practices, and my schedule changed at work, and I was working nights, and I didn't realize I could, try to figure out a way to work around the work schedule, so I dropped out. But kind of wish I hadn't. Because I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Right. And obviously they're celebrity guests. Did you get to meet anybody that really that you were impressed by or that you were, a fan of?
Yes. Well, we didn't normally get to meet them. Sometimes they would walk past, but we were always told not to approach the celebrity guest.
With your autograph book? They didn't want you to do that?
We were to stay kind of in the, shadows in the background when we were backstage getting ready to go out to sing. And but one year in particular, Gary Sinise was the guest narrator. And we were all standing in the back waiting to go out. And he came through and he walked by and he told everybody hi. He shook everyone's hand. He was very nice.
Yeah.
And I was in awe.
I like Gary Sinise. I've always liked him as an actor.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I had seen several of the other narrators walk by, and they usually would wave and smile, but they didn't necessarily stop and tell everybody hi and shake hands and stuff.
Yeah. Did they ever come out and you go, who is that? Did you do that? Because I do that a lot with the Candlelight Processional people.
Yeah, no, I knew
No?
I knew everybody, but I tried to pick nights when there was somebody that was the guest narrator that I wanted to get an opportunity to hear or see.
Sure.
Marley Matten one year, she's really good, very nice. She walked by and told her, kind of waved and told everybody hi.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
We
who
always
else did.
I think I said it to Glenn last time we talked about that. She was always the one we tried to go see, and what's the other guy's name? That was in Battlestar Galactica. What's
Yeah, Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we used to try to see him when he was doing it as well.
He's got a fabulous voice. He does a good job.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Angela Bassett, I know,
Yeah.
was one.
But yeah, it was interesting being in the choir because when it was your night to perform, you'd get there early. You'd be backstage behind the American Garden, or the American Pavilion, Adventure Pavilion, and talking to other cast members that you didn't know from other areas of the company, and getting prepared. It was really an interesting thing to do.
So, what was it like before you would go on stage? Like, because you wear like a green robe. So, is there like a changing area? Where's the changing area? Or
Sure.
where do you get ready?
Yeah, all that's behind the American Adventure Pavilion. They have a dressing room where they keep all the robes, and you go in, you find the one that's they do it by height, so you just find one that's in your height, and you get ready. They have a huge tent set up behind there with lots of tables and chairs for you to go and have something to eat and relax until it's time to go on stage. Heaters if it's cold, and fans if it's hot, because it can get really hot and stuffy in those robes. And then when it's time to line up, you line up in the there's like an area next to the American Adventure Pavilion where there's a big gate that opens up, and they line us up there into two rows, and you go out, and they have cast members outside keeping all the guests separated so that there's a clear pathway for us to cross over, because we have to go out and cross over in front of the guests to the theater, which is out over the water in front of the American Adventure. So, and then you go file in behind backstage there.
So behind the theater, there's an area, and you wait there, and then the school choirs come and fill in, because I think they come straight from the back into the stands, and then the tree
actually
fills in last, correct?
No, the tree fills in first.
Okay.
We stand in the back, and when Voices of Liberty come out, and then we come out and fill in the tree area, and then the school choirs come in, from the back while we're singing. They're singing as they're coming in and holding candles and filling in.
Wait, Voices of Liberty, the American Pavilion singers?
Yes.
Is that what we're saying? Okay.
They're part of the performance as well.
Okay.
They perform before anybody gets out there, right?
Oh, okay.
With the orchestra.
Yeah, actually they do. They sing a few songs and perform before any of the rest of the choir come out.
Gosh, I've forgotten so much. I need to go back.
I think they're out, and the trumpeters are out before anyone else.
Okay. And you mentioned that it gets really hot. I remember you telling me at least once, maybe twice, that you saw somebody, because it sometimes, in Florida, December, it's not always really cold, but so it could be hot. Did you see people either pass out or feel sick or start to sway? And so what, did everybody just kind of keep everybody standing up?
Basically, what they tell you ahead of time, they warn you in practice. If you start to feel like you're gonna pass out, sit down. Just sit down on the risers and until you feel better, or until the lights go out and you can make your way out. Same thing, like if you feel sick or anything, just sit down, and then if you can get a chance when it's calm and the lights are down, make your way out. And I saw that happen more than once. People would have to sit down, and I won't say that I didn't ever feel a little lightheaded up there or overheated, because I did, but I don't think I ever had to sit down. But it definitely gets very hot on that stage with those lights on you, and then just the intensity of being in that group of people and singing with all your might and all your heart.
Yeah, because you're standing there for about an hour or so, just standing there in those robes on that riser. You're not moving.
No.
I can imagine it would be pretty intense.
It's very intense, and it's the narrow little risers. It's you just have enough room for your feet. You can feel the people in front of you and the people behind you. You're crammed in there.
So what is it like when you're up there and you're singing, and when you look out, can you actually see the crowd, or are the lights too bright where you really don't see too much? What is that like when you're actually up there? When
you look out, you can see the narrator, the Voices of Liberty, the director, the orchestra a little bit. You can see the audience, but it's mostly shadow, like they're in the dark. You can't really make out faces too well. Maybe a few in the front row, but
you always saw me, right? You always picked me
out. Of course. I knew right where you were.
Right.
Or anyone else who came to see me.
Oh, thank you. I think we do. I think we saw you once, didn't we? Gosh, so long ago. I'm
probably
sorry.
not, because
maybe not.
I didn't ever perform again after.
Well,
No, I did.
I think maybe.
I think one
year.
time.
I think maybe 2004.
Yeah.
Because I vaguely remember going and waiting in the standby line, I think, with y'all.
Must have been. Well, I didn't perform in 2004.
Oh, okay. I thought.
That was the year I was pregnant with Megan.
Oh, okay. So 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 2003.
Well, let's just say we did, and it was fantastic. It was
maybe so.
I did a great job, right?
You did. You were the best one out there. We didn't even realize other people were singing.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive. Not everybody would have the the guts to go do that, even if they did like to sing. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that Tammy can say that she's done that I can't say that, like
That's true.
It's very, you have to be a cast member. You have to be able to sing. You have to, like you said, have the guts to actually do it. So it's more of a select group than would meet the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's so many cast members to have just the group that come together and do that every year and perform. It's amazing to me even still, and I've done it, and I'm so glad I participated at least the 4 years that I got to do it, because it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
And the music is beautiful. I mean, it's such a great. It's probably my favorite thing to do at Walt Disney World during the Christmas holidays is the Candlelight Processional. We enjoy just going and seeing it as a family.
Right.
We went last time we went for Christmas was 2011.
Yes.
And we went and saw it, and Neil Patrick Harris was the narrator. And it was we brought our kids, and it was the first time for them. I mean, it's just wonderful to see.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed bringing the kids to see it and being able to tell them that I got to do that and be part of that, in the past. And, that I think at the time they were still young. Megan kind of was awed by it. Glenn Paul didn't care.
I think Glenn Paul went to sleep, to
He
be
did
honest
fall
with you.
asleep. Poor thing.
So,
But I think as they get older and they realize how
Right.
important and special that is, it'll be something that they'll be proud of me for.
and hopefully we'll go back at Christmas at some point when they're, so they can experience it and enjoy it and hear mommy's stories.
Just let him hear this, and that'll be done. Hey, I hope you do come back Christmas time, like
I
this
do
year.
too. I would
Yeah.
love to.
Tammy never wants to go back to Disney,
No,
so
well,
that's kind of the holdup.
Yeah, right. We were just saying last weekend how we were all itching to go back.
come on down.
Thank you for taking the time to be on our podcast and to share your experience. Since it's Christmas time, we wanted to look at one attraction in particular, and so we picked the Candlelight Processional because it's kind of the best.
It is. It's awesome. And if you ever get a chance to see it, go see it because it's beautiful. I love the music. I still remember every song, and when I hear it come on, I start singing along.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our first guest. So
I
exciting.
know our first.
Oh, well,
Yay!
you told her there's no pay for this, right? It's just it's like the Candlelight Procession.
Really?
You
You
just
told
do it
her?
for the,
You
for
had
the
to mention
fun and celebrities. Yeah, and the celebrities.
that. The honor of doing it.
Yeah.
Chris,
Uh-oh.
since we were just talking through the Candlelight Processional, and I mentioned Dick Van Dyke
Yeah.
was
Oh, dear.
promoting
Yeah.
Mary
I
Poppins.
know where this is going.
I found something out about you this week that I had never, ever, ever known before. And it kind of shocked me. How do you feel about Disney's movies? And I guess not just Disney's
Yeah.
movies, but how do you feel about movies that mix live action and animation?
I hate them with a white-hot passion.
And
I mean, I don't want to
Please.
overdo it, but that's roughly how I
please
feel.
explain to me.
Yeah, but I
why.
can't. I can't explain it to you. And this actually came up because we talked about Roger Rabbit, right? So there was,
Yes.
I guess, you were lamenting that the door had been firmly shut on any sort of future Roger Rabbit things. I saw that movie, when it first came out. I think I watched it again later. I can't stand that movie. And it wasn't until much later that I realized I can't stand that movie, and I really don't like Mary Poppins. And I realized I do not like movies that mix animation and live action. I know, being the Disney fan that I am, that was where Walt got his start, right? With the
Right, exactly.
what was the girl's name? The
Alice.
Alice, right? I knew his name.
Through the Looking Glass.
Yep, right. So those are different. I mean, those are historical, whatever. But
It's-
as far as
yeah.
movies and stuff, I can't. It's too much. You know how they talk about like robotics, and there's that uncanny valley when
Yeah.
or even in animation when things look nearly human but not quite human enough.
Yeah,
And-
like the Polar Express.
Yes. Well, that's kind of how these mixtures feel to me, is that it puts it in this sort of uncanny valley thing where it's like, it's not wholly animation, it's not live action, it's just mixing these two things that my brain just finds it unsettling. So I can't think of any other offhand other than those two, but I really don't like them. Part of my other problem with Mary Poppins is it feels like a frantic movie. There's just so many numbers in it that are just like, high energy, frantic kind of, and just so that plus the mixture of the animation, live action just messes me all up. So, yep, not a fan. So, what are you gonna do?
No, that's fine. I just never knew that about you. I thought for sure we had talked about Roger Rabbit at some point.
Well, if it came up, you would have had the same reaction because I have hated that movie forever. I do not understand.
That's
I
amazing.
don't understand what people like about it. I find nothing redeeming about that movie. I would watch a movie about Hawaii before I watch a movie with that thing again.
Yeah, I like it. I like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Why?
I do. It's I like it because it's kind of okay. So it's a throwback to what, the 40s or so, and
Yeah, no, I get that. I like
And
that.
it's-
Like, do the same movie, but just make it
Yeah.
where he's not animated. Put him in like a little fuzzy suit or something, and I'd be fine with it. Or make the whole thing animated. I would have loved it. but it's just the merger of the two. You know what? Because it never looks right. It never. The actors are always looking kind of in the direction of the thing. It's like constantly reminding you that, we're just kind of, messing with this a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. All right. So let me ask you this.
In a lot of those, by the way, to tie it to, to Star Wars, because everything has to go back to Star Wars.
So, that's exactly what I was going to ask.
Is it really? Okay,
yes.
So go ahead. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, what about something like Star Wars? That's basically shot in front of a green screen.
Yeah. So you have the Uncanny Valley problem again. So the prequels had this problem in spades, right? Because of the technology where it was at the time and poor direction. You have this a lot, right? You have especially with Jar Jar and things, or actors they're kind of looking in the direction of the thing, but not really because it couldn't be exact. So I have a problem with the execution of that. It's not in the idea of it, because, and here's the difference. I've thought this through because I knew you were going to needle me about this week. Is the difference is those are at least trying to, because I was thinking about other ones too, like the Lord of the Rings movies, just about any sort of modern things where there's a whole lot of CG that's going on. The difference is that CG, that quote, animation, is being made to feel like it's part of the same world, as opposed to Roger Rabbit and Mary Poppins, where it looks, it's like merging these two different worlds together. The flat, drawing with the three-dimensional real life. So the newer movies, even though the technology they're using mixes the two, that's not what they're aiming for, right? They're trying to blend it in as the same. So and lately, most of the motion capture and CG stuff they have, it's so good that I really don't. It doesn't bother me at all.
So what do you think about Polar Express?
Well, gosh, I love the story. I love that my kid loved it last year. I don't know if I'll get into it this year, but yeah, it has that. It's so unfortunate because it has everything else going for it, but it has that dead sort of wooden look to it. But does that mix? That doesn't mix a lot.
No, not at all. No, but you're talking about motion capture. That's what it is.
Yeah,
the whole movie is just motion capture.
Sure. Yeah,
and they tried to make the humans look like humans,
right?
Instead of doing the whole Pixar, thing with the eyes to make it look like to make sure that it's
you got to keep it out of the Uncanny Valley. But I think the technology is getting there where I can't think of any good examples right now, but I think they're getting close to kind of bridging that gap. Because it really has to do with the faces, right? It has to do with how alive they seem, and it's just there wasn't enough. I guess it's kind of like resolution, right? There wasn't enough resolution for the number of points that they can animate based on that. But I think obviously every generation they kind of kicked that up a bit. Like we were talking about last week with the Avatar stuff, right? I mean, that's even though they're not human, you can really such subtlety in the animations and stuff that I think it's getting there. Yeah.
Polar Express to me is nightmare fuel. Like I cannot watch that.
Really?
It gives me my son had it on the other day because he likes it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it's a boy thing.
I guess so. But I'm watching it and it's freaking me out the whole time, and I'm like, I can't.
Well, it doesn't help that the whole thing is not
like torture.
It's not grounded in reality, right? So it's like
right?
It's just, I can see that. Yeah.
And amazingly enough, it was made by Robert Zemeckis, who made.
Well, there you go. So
tie everything back together.
There's your big director.
Yeah, no, it freaks me out, man.
Yeah,
I've never liked it since day one.
Yeah,
and I was sitting there actually, really looking at it to see how weird it is, and it's the eyes and the mouth.
Yeah,
they're just like. The eyes, because they're trying to make them look like real eyes,
right.
But they look
dead, right?
And then the mouth is like it's forming the words, but it's not like doing it exaggerated slightly. And it's just not. It looks like oh my god, like Chucky the doll.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as
is talking.
As humans, we're wired to get so much detail out of faces, right? Facial recognition and emotional cues and things that there's just so much that has to be conveyed that I really think it's, like I said, I think it's a matter of resolution. How many points can they actually have move around? And it's got to be subtle, right? I mean, just millimeters of different. I'm sorry,
Sure.
fractions of an inch difference. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Can totally change someone's impression. So,
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, I think they just made that movie too early.
Yes, totally agree.
If they did it today, they'd probably do a darn good job with it.
Hey. All right. So since you said remaking movies, I'm going to go completely off track here. You ready?
Okay.
I don't think there's any way I could tie this back to I don't think anyway. Who knows? They own everything now, so who knows? So have you ever seen those Frankenbass animated Christmas animation things?
Oh yeah,
Rudolph and Santa Claus.
Yeah, of course. Oh my God.
So you've seen those? So
yeah, they raised me.
So I was watching those the other day because we put those on as good Americans, and I was looking at it going, you know what? This is, and I'm generally against remakes. And there's been so many in every artistic field lately, but those are ones they should and could remake, and I think be true to the original feeling of them. Don't you think?
No.
What? How did I know that was going to be your reaction? You don't think so? Because
no.
Like my son,
that's the charm of it.
Well, I know, but do it the same way. But do it with 3D. Like imagine if Pixar did them. Like same story. Don't change the music.
Oh my
God.
Don't no. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
No, of course. But I guess the reason I was thinking is that at some point, it's going to be too far. It's going to feel too old. Because I've noticed it with some other things that we may have found charming when we were kids, like the peanut stuff, right? So like the Great Pumpkin or whatever. Like my kid can't get into those because they just feel too old, right? They compare to everything else he watches is just like what is this? And I wonder if those Frankenbass ones will hit that point too. Okay, all right. Next topic. All right. So.
I know what you're saying. Believe me, I know exactly what you're saying. But, man, I don't know.
Go watch it again.
And I'm going to throw this out.
Try to clear your mind.
You're going to say,
and go watch it again. And then with that idea, and just look at it and go, okay.
No,
if it was done right.
But I'm going to throw this out, and you're going to say, well, exactly. You've just proved my point.
Okay.
Willy Wonka versus Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, okay. I see.
So they remade.
I see how you brought that back.
The movie, and it's truer to the book.
Right.
But I will always go to Willy Wonka.
Yeah, you do. But okay, great. So my typical test audience of my 5-year-old son loves the new one. I put on the original for him, and he's like, "What is this nonsense? Can we put on the?" Literally said, "Can we put on the other one?" So I mean, the technology marches on to a point where I think the magic of the things can kind of get lost because it's too obvious of either how old or how simple they are compared to what can be made today.
So you're saying the new Superman movies are better than the original 1978 Superman movie?
Well, I have not seen them, so I can't comment.
Okay.
But that's different. I mean, that's just, are they good movies or not, right? So, I mean, I mean, I think the Willy Wonka example is they both are good movies. They're just different kinds of movies, at least in my opinion. So I'm sorry, no, I brought it up. But anyway, I think I would be very interested. But the thing is, it's just like, to take it back to Star Wars, because everything does. I mean, Episode 7, I think it succeeded as well as it did because, they got to the core of what makes Star Wars. And that's why a lot of people complain, like, oh, it's just a remake of, blah, blah. But that's okay. It's what it needed to be. And that's what keeps it true to its things. What are the elements that makes it feel that way? So I'd love to see if good filmmakers, good animation were to do the same thing with those Frankenbass things, so that the Star Trek ones, another great example. What made it still modernize it, bring it forward, but be true to what it is. And so I think those are kind of in that same category. They could get that treatment. As long as they don't get rid of the silver and gold song, because that one.
Of course. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The music has to stay the same, keep the story the same, keep the same sort of, herky-jerky vibe to it. Anyway, that's what I say. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate mail on that one.
I hope you do.
All right, what's next? Spin the wheel.
Charity spot.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna be a little different this week, and it's not so much a charity, but it is a nonprofit organization. Have you ever heard of a little website called Wikipedia?
No.
No.
Is it new?
So it came out recently.
Yes, I live on
in the
Wikipedia.
last 10 years, and that's my point. And I don't know if you ever hear this, but it drives me insane that I hear people say in sort of in a maligning voice, well, it was on Wikipedia, so it must be true, with this sort of implication that Wikipedia is filled with falsehoods because anybody can update it. But I got to tell you,
that was a joke on The Office.
Well, I'm not a big Office watcher fan, but okay. So, but I get tremendous value out of it, and I can't tell you one time that I read something there that turned out to be not true. I mean, the amount of factual information I get from that is just astounding. But I don't know if people know that it is backed by a 501c nonprofit organization, the Wikimedia Foundation. And I was reminded of this because I guess they do. They ask for donations every so often, and I usually choose to donate because I think I gave them $20 or something, but I get hundreds of dollars a year worth of value out of it versus if I, like in the olden days we had to buy our encyclopedias on dead trees like animals. So everybody kind of jokes about it, but to me it is one of the greatest resources. I bet somewhere in the history of the world they will look back on Wikipedia as one of the kind of defining technologies that came out of our current era, because and you just think about the amount of information that you have available to you, mostly by volunteers, right? It's people that either experts on topics or want to update things, and through the nonprofit. So that's my pick, and you can kind of go see it at the wikimediafoundation.org, and you can see if you want to help them out.
So the last thing for this week is the pick of the week.
Goodness. All right, you're going to have to go first on this one.
Okay.
Oh, I got my pick. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome.
Just came to it.
Mine will be quick. Mine is a TV show.
We already talked about Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, we did. Okay, never mind. Your turn. No. So it's new this season, and I may have mentioned it before. I know you and I have talked about it, or I've mentioned it to you, but it's Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
On ABC's on Wednesday night. It's a good show that is not completely what I expected. It's becoming it's kind of a mystery show,
Okay.
along with just being a drama about the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Because the premise is it's the State of the Union, and everybody except for one person that the president designated on his cabinet to stay behind, everybody's in the Capitol, and so the Capitol is attacked, and from that point on, it follows the designated survivor as he becomes president, and but they also have to find out who did the bombing on the Capitol, and so the FBI is trying to figure that out. And you're also following this guy who was the I think the Housing and Urban Development cabinet member,
Okay.
who is thrown into this situation. He was never elected to any post before, but he's trying to do his best, and whether it's right or wrong, or you follow along with his mistakes, with his successes. And so it's just in light of how our world is right now, it's it's just a nice show to take you away from everything and focus on what would happen if this really happened, if we were left with just this one random person, what would and this plays it out. So
Okay.
So that's my pick.
All right. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's you gotta
Yes.
put that on my list. Okay, is it my turn?
It is your
Oh
turn.
goodness. Okay, so This is sort of a begrudging pick, if that's a thing.
Okay.
We have picks, we have anti-picks. This one's like, I'm going to pick it, but with a couple of caveats, footnotes, and cautions. How's that? You intrigued now?
Mm-hmm.
So you may know from previous conversations, I'm a bit of a space nut, especially in the sort of pre-shuttle era. Mercury through Apollo stuff. And last time I talked about from the Earth to the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a company called Spacecraft Films, and they and I think it's a pretty small company. It might be run by even an individual. But what they've done is they actually went to Houston, wherever, with NASA and got original actual films from that were shot at the time of the missions, and they transferred them. Most of them are to DVD, but they have some that they're starting to do on Blu-ray now. And it is some of the most fascinating stuff if you're into the history of this, because it's even though everybody has seen clips and maybe some short movies and some documentaries, these are like real-time videos. They're like, they will show you the 6 different angles of launch cameras film in their entirety for a launch or something. So for somebody that really likes to get into the nitty-gritty of the missions and stuff, it's fascinating for that. And they have, I don't know, a few dozen different DVDs and Blu-rays at this point covering all manner of NASA stuff. So the product is amazing. I will throw the caveat in there in that, I had an issue where I ordered something and it took a long time for me to get it. I talked with the owner of the company and eventually he made good on it, but it took a lot of chasing for me to eventually get it, and it was one of their bigger packages for a decent sum of money. And I've heard others say that it's kind of touch and go on how quickly they ship stuff and get it to you. So total pick on the product. In fact, if anybody wanted to, go look for them on eBay. I see them sold used all the time there. Obviously save some money. There's a whole bunch of them, so that way at least maybe it's a little easier. But pretty active on Facebook these days, so maybe he's gotten past whatever those rough spots were. But anyway, so a cautionary but still strong pick for the product for Spacecraft Films. Great stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, you mentioned this to me, and I think you showed me a clip of one of them. And it is, it's, I mean, you're not kidding. I mean, it's in depth. Like, you get to see all the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So for instance, the package that I bought that I'm talking about, they, on all the Apollo missions, they had, I can't remember what the acronym was, but there was a specific film camera, 16 millimeter film camera that they had, in the capsules. And they had, I don't know, probably 10 or so different magazines. Now, 16 millimeter film magazines back then, they could only shoot, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe on them, something like that. But so these are just like, this is just a random film that they'd shoot inside the capsule. Sometimes they were lining up with the moon for navigation. Sometimes they were just taking film inside the capsules. The astronauts were eating lunch and stuff. These not produced things at all. These were things that were mostly made just for historical and for the science aspects of it. So the package that I bought has all of these that have been converted to high def. They're so high def that you can see all the grain of the film. So once you get down to where you can see the grain of the film, there's nothing else there that can be more high def than that. You have everything. So just really fascinating stuff. But you don't have to go that extreme to, and if you have any children that are interested at all in the space program, these are fascinating, like, because they go through all the missions and just really get in touch with them, because they're so unproduced. That sounds like a bad thing, but it's a positive in this case. It's like here are all the things that happened while they were there, and the reality of it, not just something that was shown on TV with narration over it, etc. So, yeah, cool stuff. I could go on for a while, but I'll stop. Leave it there.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this week.
All right. This was good. Topical. Hopefully nobody listens to this in July, because it'd be like...
Right. Oh, so much Christmas stuff. Goodness gracious.
Well, maybe they want it. In July, you're about ready for Christmas.
Maybe. That's true.
All right, Glenn.
Okay.
Well, I'm beat. I'm out of here, man.
Me too.
I got to rest up for next week. I got to go back in my box.
That's right. Get some more. Get a case of Monster.
This one wasn't too bad. This was just the classic.
Was that the motor oil? flavor.
You know what it is?
or
It's like
antifreeze.
you get halfway through it and you're like, yeah, okay.
Right.
Hey, it kept me awake, right?
It did. It did.
All right.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Terrific Recordings of Nothing. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Tron_FM, and on Facebook at Terrific Recordings of Nothing. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at tron.fm.